General Patankar, Tisha, Mr. Arun, and my very dear friend Vinod from the Charlie Squadron, now the Cheetah Squadron, I'm told. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's such a pleasure to be here. I've gone through every word of your book, Tisha, as my copy, which has been heavily underlined, will testify. And I compliment you. Especially, I found the first part, which was personal reminiscences of an era, so very moving because they came right from the heart. Incidentally, my roots also go back to the same state. I'm born in Jammu. My father was the chief education officer of the Jammu and Kashmir state forces of Maharaja Hari Singh. He was his personal darbari. He was personal tutor to Yuvraj Karan Singh. And let me tell you that it is the state forces that were absorbed en bloc as a separate regiment in the Indian Army, the Jammu and Kashmir Rifles. My elder brother served that same regiment. He was in the 11th Battalion, Captain S.R. Bakshi. He was killed in 1965. 66, I gave my NDA written exam, and you can imagine the storm that was there in the family. 67, I was in the NDA. Right? Ours is the batch. Well, we fought the 71 war at the cutting edge. And 38 course, I'm very proud to state, is the only course amongst all the annals of the NDA courses. I don't know, it's 150 something plus, but we are the ones who have one Paramveer Chakra posthumous and one Ashok Chakra posthumous, Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra posthumous. NJC Nair, Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal. So I think we've earned our spurs as warriors. In my own personal little capacity, somehow I found myself in every single conflict, 71 and beyond. Right? I fought in Punjab, counter-terrorist operations, commanding a Khalsa company against the Khalistani terrorists. I have been in Kargil, I fought in Kargil, heavy skirmishes, 6 killed, 21 wounded in my own unit. Then I commanded 3 years in Kishtwar, 9th sector, Rashtriya Rifles. And that was the worst area to be posted to, you know. And I have some very seminal lessons which I will try and share from that particular tenure. And my final, from 2000 to 2005, I had 3 consecutive tenures in Jammu and Kashmir, right? Like I said, first 2000 to 2003, Kishtwar. I went right back to Northern Command as the BGS Information Warfare and Psychological Operations, where part of my task was to find out wherever 5 and more terrorists have been killed. I was supposed to get choppers, get the news camera, television camera people and film those dead bodies and send the message across. Aapne bheje tohfe, ye dekhiye. So, and when my tenure was ending, the army commander then, General Shank, he called me, he said, GD, things are very bad in Rajouri and Poonch. I said, sir, don't say another word, I'm a volunteer. So I was sent, that was the final ending. Rajouri and Poonch were again one of the worst areas, immediately in the wake of Sarp Vinash. So I have seen this thing through and through. And let me tell you, we in the Indian Army have formulated our own doctrine and practice of low intensity conflict, that is manpower intensive as opposed to technology intensive. You know the way the Americans fought Vietnam, Nam tour of duty, helicopter, heliborne divisions, 155 millimeter artillery, B-52 bombers, the works. Agent Orange flattening out entire forests, right? And it's a triumph of the human spirit. I've been to Vietnam and young Vinod keeps going there again and again. There are more bomb craters in Vietnam than there are craters on the moon. But those people fought back. pure human resource, courage. They fought back. So we had a damn good doctrine of, manpower intensive operations in low intensity conflict. And I've had fair amount of experience with General Patankar, and we were at the military operation directorate also. I've had 2 tenures there, in one in which I was handling, Jammu and Kashmir at the apex level. From there, we had the top look, we had the grunts look on the ground. And let me tell you one thing. Whenever we have super saturated an area with troops, the problem, you have to throw manpower at it. We are told not to throw manpower at it, but let me tell you very blunt and very plain. Punjab, the breakthrough came, 1, with the fence, 2, when you threw manpower at it. We've all heard of KPS Gill and what the Punjab police did. Let me tell you, behind that were lakhs of Indian Army troops, right? We super saturated that area. That was the end of the problem. We've again super saturated that Jammu and Kashmir with troops. And the breakthrough came around 2004, 2005. Once again, when we built that fence and super saturated that area with troops. When I was commanding Romeo Force, I had 18 battalions under me, which is almost the equivalent of a corps. Today, there are 7 battalions in Rajouri and Poonch. And you opened the gates. Uniform force was sent to Ladakh, right? Because we have a habit of saying, oh, it's all over. And we go lull ourselves into complacency very fast. Very fast. Uniform force was sent out up to Ladakh. Romeo force was more or less done away with, you see. And then 9 sector RR, there was 9 sector RR and there was 4 sector RR in Bhadarwa and Doda. Now 9 sector RR holds both the areas. Is it any wonder you create gaps and you think the Pakistanis won't exploit it? Last 3-4 years we've been having a resurgence of, terrorism south of the Pir Panjals. Because we have now, let me be blunt, a new fangled doctrine, a new set of generals who feel manpower is a waste of money. Manpower is a waste of money. And we have the crowning piece of glory in the Agniveers. You've destroyed a damn career. Let me be blunt and in your face. I mean, I'm sure all the old timers here agree with me. You've destroyed a career. 4 years is not a career. I am in Haryana. If there is a boy in the village, he has to choose today between, going to the CISF, BSF, ITBP, CRPF, etc., etc. He serves for 58 years. You're telling him to come to the army for 4 years, 6 months training, and we were giving 2 months of annual leave. So when I was talking like hell against the Agniveer scheme, I was told, sir, thoda idhar aiye, we'll brief you. So then the gentleman who was briefing me, I said 6 months of training, 6 months of annual leave. He said, no, sir, we've reduced that 6 months to 1 month. I don't want to say things. I said, have you heard a shot fired in anger? Have you ever heard a shot fired in anger? That 2 months of bloody leave is required. Especially if you are serving in the glacier, if you are serving in Ladakh, you have your mom, dad who have to be taken to the hospital. That damn leave is required. But you see, paper tigers emerge in periods of peace. Therefore, General B.C. Joshi, our DGMO and then our chief, was damn right. He told me once, he said, GD, wherever there is any fighting, any shots being fired, send our people. They'll get blooded and they'll stay on the straight and narrow and they'll be damn good soldiers. The only training for combat is combat. The only training for combat is combat. You don't learn combat on the ranges, right? Because the range you fire this way. In the battlefield, it comes this way. And that's one hell of a difference, right? I want to share a story with you which is pertinent to what the crux of the discussion is in Tisha's book. I was posted to Kishtwar and there it has a very sensitive demography, right? It is 40% Hindu and 60% Muslim. And that is one of the problem areas in that particular place. So when I reached there, we were passing through a particularly bad patch. I told my boys, look, I'm not interested in a big score. Don't kill the piadas. It is of no bloody use to man or beast. You kill that piada, that sucker who has been picked off the streets, ki aao tere ko cricket khilayenge. You know, this is how they are recruited. And when he starts playing cricket, that young man plays truant from the school. Well, then he is told, want to play better things with pistols, guns, and that's how they are recruited. Well, you can kill them. It matters little. They'll recruit 10 more from that place. I said, I want the command and control attrition. We used to go around with photographs of the top terrorists, district commander, area commander, and of course the divisional commanders, tehsil commanders, divisional commanders. In my pocket, you know, photographs of these people. I used to go to management by objectives. I used to go to my company commander and tell him, boy, who's this? Abu Ghulam sir. Who's this? Mustafa sir. You know, so and so, so and so. How long has he been operating in your area? Sir, 8 months. Sir, 1 year. He said, why? When are you giving me his dead body? Management by objectives. Give me time when you say that you've gotten him. And when you get him, don't bury him. I would like to see. So I have been around, you know, turning the grisly faces of corpses with a torchlight and, you know, holding him next to the face of that guy who was to be killed. It worked. Within about 4 months, we'd killed 37 top leaders. Others may have been doing much more, you know, 100 and this and that. This made a difference. I got a message from the other side. They know how to convey it. Bakshi saab tere ko dekh lenge. You know, that is the message I got. So I called my deputy brigade commander and I told him, buddy, be a little more alert. Tell the boys, they might just do some standoff fire or they'll try an ambush. So we go looking around for them. If they are going to come, make sure they don't go back. Not on their 2 feet at least. So, you know, they didn't either attack my convoy, they didn't attack the brigade headquarters, etc. But they went to the village of Pati Mahal. That is the bus where the last bus stop goes. From there, they picked out 6 Hindus, took them up that Nala 4 hours up, shot 5 of them, and told the 6, jaake Bakshi ko bata dena. Right? And, you know, by the time that boy came down, the next morning bus he caught and came to Kishtwar, good about 14-15 hours had passed. So I was furious when this happened, you see. So I sent that company commander there, battalion commander, bloody scour that damn area. He said, sir, they are gone. It has rained at night. Even if we use tracker dogs, we are not going to get them. It is futile. Aap jungle bashing kara rahe ho. I said, nevertheless, you will bash the jungle. Because we can't take it lying down. Right? So, that 1 week passed. Tagud village. We had VDCs in every village. And a lot of the boys there are Dogras, who are part of the Dogra regiment, my regiment, Jack Ali, and they are pretty good fighters. So we had armed the VDCs. So what they did was, you know, in the summer, the women and children, they take their, mal maveshi up to the alpine pastures. And there, the old people go, you know, Buddha, Buddha, 60, 70, 80, and all the little kids, they go. So they shot 8 of them, left the 9th. Once again, jaake Bakshi ko bata de. 2 weeks later, they hit now this time at Gulabgarh. And they killed 13. Same thing in the alpine pastures. Old man about 76, 74. There was a lady 70. Kids, children, you know, 5, 6, 8, 12, 13. They're dead bodies. And an exodus started from Kishtwar, straight towards Himachal, towards Jammu. And that was the BJP government. There was hell to pay. We started getting almost calls, you know, the army commander, General Rustam Nanavati, a great professional. He said, GD, what the hell is happening? Every day I have to, you know, listen to this. I had 3 battalions. They had taken 1 battalion away despite all my protestations to protect the road because they felt the main artery, takes precedence over the hinterland. I had protested like hell, I had written it down in writing, nothing. So now that this thing came, I could always have turned around and said, I told you so. Ha, maro, good. But I thought that's not the way to protest. I called my battalion commander and said, I was asked, do you need more troops? I said, no, sir. Since I accepted it, now we will deal with what we have. It's my responsibility. My GOC told me, GD, who the hell told you you are responsible for protecting Hindus? Who the hell told you that is communal? I said, sir, they are citizens of this damned country. But that is the police job. I said, sir, if the police in J&K was so good, would lakhs of us be frigging around here? They aren't. My task, as I see it in counter-terrorist operations, is to protect the people. How the hell does it matter whether they're this religious denomination or that? So we decided. I had 7,000 square kilometers of the most rugged mountain terrain with heights going up to 16, 17 and more, right? And ridges, doing counter-terrorist operations, one ridge 7,214, then down and to the third ridge is taxing. So I decided that there is no way that I can with 2,500 troops, even if I put one man to a square kilometer, it would leave 2/3 of that area uncovered. So force to space ratio, there is no bloody way that you can prevent. You protect this village, he'll hit that. You protect that, he'll hit this and keep you on a merry-go-round. So I gave it a lot of thought, and then I had 2 battalions, damn good battalions, 11th Battalion Rashtriya Rifles and 26 RR. Really great outfits, One of them got the Ashok Chakra, I was very happy to say. And I took one company from there, one company from there. I took some people from my brigade headquarters. We formed a long convoy of about 30, 40 vehicles, and we put the jeep in front with a siren. And wah, 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 and we landed up at Gulabgarh. Cordon and search this whole place, right? And well, cordon and searches are not very pleasant. As old soldiers are, will give you a smile. 3 days of that cordon and search, and all the village sarpanches and kharpanches were outside the room. I was staying in that school. साहब हमने नहीं किया जनाब, हमने नहीं किया. So I asked them, look, मैं नहीं कह रहा आपने किया है. I'm just asking you who did it. I'm just asking you this question, who did it? So then खुसपुस किया आपस में, and then all of them came to me and said, साहब हम में से कोई एक आपको नहीं बता रहा, हम सब बता रहे हैं कि अबू मुस्तफा, अबू गुलाम, अबू उमेर, लश्कर तोयबा उन्होंने किया है, ये 2 गुज्जर गाइड थे. I said, thank you very much. Tomorrow I would like all males 16 to 60 in the school, 15 villages around. So the next morning they were all assembled there. We had a PowerPoint projector. I flashed the dead bodies of the victims. I said, ये कौन है, मुन्नी कितने साल की थी, 8, ये वगैरह, etc. I made them identify. So I said, कुरान शरीफ में एक आयत है which says, जिहाद में औरतों की जान, बच्चों की जान, बूढ़ों की जान बख्श दी जाए. And for good effect we had a Maulvi. So as a Maulvi साहब जरा आयत सुनाइए, तो in a sing song voice he recited the ayat. I said, is that right? No sir. I said, I just want to convey a message. Please convey this message to Abu Mustafa, Abu Ghulam, Abu Umair. भाड़ में गए बाकी टेररिस्ट, तुमको जहां भागना है तुम भाग लो, चाहे हमें 1 हफ्ता लगे, 1 महीना, 1 साल, तुम्हें जहन्नम के किसी भी कोने से ढूंढ निकालेंगे और कुत्ते की मौत मारेंगे जला के. You see, I conveyed this threat and I said, call off the operations. So we came back, and sure enough, within about, I think, 8th or 9th day, my best Gujar source, God bless that community, They'll both agree. God bless that community. My top Gujjar source, 6'4", no names. You know, we came at the gate of the headquarters. हाथ में खुजली हो रहा है, commander साहब को बोलो. You know, हाथ में खुजली means. So we called him. He said, they don't say आप, nothing. They have no such niceties. He said, तूने जो धमकी दिया ना, बहुत अच्छा किया. मैंने कहा, क्यों? बोला, अपनी छाया से डर रहे हैं. किसी गांव में 1 घंटा से ज्यादा नहीं रहते. अगर कोई उनकी तरफ देखता है, उसकी मार पिटाई करते. So I told him कि यार कट द कॉमेडी, मुझे बता कि अभी किधर है. इसे साहब टाटा के जंगल में एक खुला मैदान है, वहां धोख है. इतने डरे हुए वहां जाके छुपे हैं ताकि कोई इनको सरप्राइज ना कर सके. ऐसे ले जाएगा? बोले हाँ साहब ले जाऊंगा. मैंने कहा इसको बुर्का पहनाओ. So he was 6'4" and he was given a burqa with his hairy legs showing, you know. You know, so we put him in the jeep and I sent him to 26RR and I told the CEO, I said, you know, Anil, this man will take you to those 3 guys. Go yourself, get them. Get them. Otherwise, this won't stop here. Right? So he went, they launched, by the time they, you know, cordoned that area off and they started to attack that dhok, there was not a stitch of bloody cover. They just grass this high. One boy got shot through the head, came out from the back, and he was alive. You know, he quivering like that. The second guy also got shot up, and Anil had taken a lot of casualties. And those days, if you had too many casualties, you were also hauled up as a CO. Your tactics aren't good. The combat ratio between the terrorists and you is not good enough. So he was very worried. Sir, I'll get sacked if these 2 boys die, etc. I said, Anil, don't leave that cordon. And in the meantime, we had radio intercepts. Abu Mustafa, Abu Umair, Abu Ghulam, फौज के घेरे में हैं. फौज उनकी जान की प्यासी है. कुछ करो भाई, उनका डिस्ट्रैक्ट करो, फायर खोलो, ये खोलो, उनको बचाओ. We said, these are the guys. Now we've got radio confirmation. These are the guys, right? I said, don't lift that cordon. I'll come and personally take your boys out from there. And I assure you, we will see that they survive. So we went. It was night. The choppers couldn't come. We went forward with the RMO, second RMO, and we got them into an ambulance, spoke to the command hospital. They were there by 4 o'clock and both of them survived, including a guy, bullet from here to here, right? They survived. So next morning they started the operation again and they took one more guy wounded. So then I asked him, he said, sir, there is just no bloody cover. I don't know. I'll have to wait till night again. I said, Anil, who told you to attack? You got a Russian flamethrower? He said, yes, sir. I said, then use it. Dhok hai na? Use it. So I heard a hesitant voice on the other side. He said, sir, what if there are civilians inside? Who the hell is going to then bail me out if there are civilians? I said, very simple. You got a loud hailer? Yes, sir. Use the loud hailer and say, हम ये धोख जला रहे हैं. अगर कोई civilian है, 10 गिन रहे हैं, हाथ खड़ा करके बाहर आ जाओ. From within came the choicest, you know, MCs, BCs in Punjabi. You know, in Thet Punjabi. So then he said, I asked him what's happening. He said, sir, they are abusing in the choicest Punjabi. मैंने कहा कश्मीरी पंजाबी नहीं बोलते ना. No sir. I said then go for it. Yeah, there is nobody there to कर दे. He still hesitated. Sir, but sir, will you hold my hand in case it is there? Then I said okay. For tiger, from tiger. Use flame thrower now. Record message. Out. So they used that Russian thermobaric flamethrower. You know where that flamethrower bursts? There is an 8-meter diameter fireball. Degree core temperature 1000 degrees centigrade. Right? And that hut was made of pine. Pine has resin. And nothing burns like pine. You know. And within, you know, 1 hour, everything was reduced to ash. Everything was reduced to ash. They waited 1 hour. They had to wait for it to cool down. And then I said, look now, where are the bodies, etc. So when they searched, they said, sir, what bodies? यहाँ तो रेत, यहाँ तो राख ही राख है, But in any way, you know, this is the thickest femur bone in your body. So there was a line of chura, white chura, and then the other bit of that leg, etc., spine, bit on the skull. They got that. I said, well, where is their rifles? Where are the AKs? They were firing all that damn while. So then they fished out. All the woodwork burnt. First time in my life I have seen an AK-47 barrels bent into you. It was so damn hot. So I found it, all three. So thank God. Because a dead body without a weapon in Kashmir can be a warrant, death warrant, right? So we found that. I said, lots of photographs. We had the digital cameras. He said, sir, next instruction. I said, we are all going to Gulabgarh. So we went to Gulabgarh. We got those 15 villages around, right? And we showed them again that picture with the dead bodies of our Hindus there, right? And then I said, देखिए मैंने आपसे गुजारिश की थी, आपको लड़ने का शौक है, आप हमसे लड़िए, हमको तनख्वाह मिलती है लड़ने की, ठीक है साहब, लेकिन अगर आप औरत बच्चे बूढ़े मारोगे तो आपका ये हाल होगा. So we showed the next slide. All about thousands plus people there in that hall. They were trying to understand. All they could see was ash. I said, no. I had a laser pointer. Very helpfully, I pointed out, ये टांग का हड्डी, ये इधर का हड्डी, ये इधर का हड्डी. ये लोग जल के मरे. कयामत के दिन इनकी रूह खड़ी नहीं होगी. Ladies and gentlemen, that was September 2001. And till about 1 year back, not one minority community guy was killed or hurt in that area. And that one incident that happened was in Kishtwar town. It was a local enmity. All the Hindus who had fled to Jammu and to Himachal, they came right back. Unfortunately, I don't think we were in a, this is what needed to be done, even in Jammu and Kashmir. I mean, that's it. It needed to be done. It was not done. And 500,000 Kashmiri Pandits are still rotting. Let's not put a gloss over it. They are still rotting in the refugee camps of Jammu in that 45 degrees Celsius heat. People who were born in the kind of snow-clad mountains. And we were not supposed to talk about it, man. We were not. It was supposed to be politically incorrect to talk about this Kashmir genocide. After all, Slobodan Milosevic and the others were brought before the International Court of Justice and, put behind the bars for similar ethnic cleansing. If this is not ethnic cleansing, what else is? I think we need to go back. If there is one lesson about the primacy of manpower, it is the Russia-Ukraine war, which has told you that manpower is needed. I think we need both high-tech and, is a big and, manpower. Russia tried to do it with less. They had to pay through their nose. They've had to mobilize twice, thrice. So, manpower is our best resource, right? We are 1.4 billion strong. We are more, numbers than the Chinese. And these 1.4 billion, 60% are below the age of 25. For God's sake, don't treat them as a waste of money. Treat them as a resource, human resource. Don't reduce the strength of your army. It has been worked out over a period of time and it matches the threats that you face. When you try and, cut down on this resource, low intensity conflict, our way has worked because of a manpower intensive approach. May not be very popular views, but this is what stems from my years and years and years of experience in these operations. Thank you.